What are some of the highlights, guys?
I think, well, this year we celebrated the 10-year anniversary of the MCU, and we did this huge class photo, and there was like a gajillion people in it, but it was crazy just to feel the like star power and the collective amount of talent and work, and it was pretty epic.
And there were like Oscar winners there who literally did like a day of work on one of these movies.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
I feel like it really hit home that doing that photo, and also these last two films, it was, you know, you're off doing your solo thing most of the time, your solo films, and you're worried about, oh, is it going to work, and how does it fit into the larger picture, and then being a part of that day and these last two films, and definitely made me stop and pause and go, oh, this is the culmination of 10 years and 22 films, and here we are, and we're a part of it.
I think everybody in that room was feeling that. You know, you just look around, and it was an overwhelming thing to take in. There were so many things I think about, but I did get to have a real nice conversation for a while with Stan Lee when we were shooting the very first Ant-Man, and as he was telling me how excited he was that they were making Ant-Man into a film because you could capture scale in a way you couldn't do with the comics. And in the middle of this conversation, I just took a step back and thought, I'm talking to Stan Lee about doing Ant-Man, and that's something I'll never forget.
Honestly, the highlights were just getting to know everyone as sort of like one big family. And it's a really unique experience for us as filmmakers to work on something for 7 years and see everyone, you know, day in and day out, eat lunch together, laugh together. We've never cried together, which is good, but that's certainly been the highlight for us, is creating like another family.
We've cried together.
We have.
I feel like we've cried.
Have we? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
different
a tear or
reasons.
two.
I cry alone.
What do you mean we're working Saturday?
We were always on set. There was no, like, Infinity War and Endgame all was just one giant experience for all of us.
There's 2 weeks in between the two movies.
There were? I don't remember that. Was there 2 weeks?
There is literally 2
Is that why I was on set and nobody else was there? I was like, what the heck?
But it's like summer camp that never ends, right?
Yeah.
Like you just show up for summer camp in January of 17 and you leave summer camp in January of 18. That's a year of summer camp.
But for you guys, I feel like it's been even longer.
Oh yeah, it's you know, it's been 7 years of summer camp.
Yeah. How's it feel? How's it feel, you guys?
It's good.
We're ready for a beach.
Feel younger and fresher than ever.
Maybe a pina colada.
One of the things that's kind of fun to play about this character, Scott, is that he's a guy that is very much a regular person that has been thrust into this world. And so I think that when you watch him try to process all of, you know, when you look at Civil War and even in the Ant-Man films, he's wrestling with being a superhero and being a good parent, and that it becomes a little bit relatable, because I feel like people might think, that's how I would feel, or that's how I would react.
The fish out of water sort of quality. It's been different in each film, I think. That in the Infinity War, the determination and the sort of relentless kind of, I'm going to do this thing and make up for what I've lost, and so on. And that sort of drive, maybe.
I think the character has really grown over the past 10 years. She's sort of fallen into a leadership position, which I think is kind of a natural place for her. And she's very pragmatic, and she is flexible and understands like the shades of gray that exist in the universe, and can operate like above and below, and she's brave.
Well, we love working with the character because the history is that she was a villain and now she's a hero. That's a really complex arc for someone to play. You mentioned shades of gray. I think in Winter Soldier that is sort of a turning point in a way for the Marvel Universe, where it does become much more shades of gray moving forward from that. Everything flips on its head, and the way that Widow deals with that, and the way that these characters bounce off of each other and grow from each other, I think is really exemplified. The way that both you and Cap interact with each other in that film created a trajectory, which I think you've both been on since that movie.
In her like current incarnation, it feels like she's finally kind of a fully realized person, and certainly much more grounded in my own life now than I did 10 years ago. So it's interesting how those two things kind of go together.
And she was a riotous character early on, but like when you look at her in Civil War, she's the adult in the room. You know, she's the most adult response of anybody in that movie. Like you said, it's an interesting growth arc for her into leadership.
I mean, those are all qualities that I really admire about her and love to play. Bye.